What's up, everybody? It's Andre Iguodala from the Golden State Warriors here. It's my pleasure on behalf of New Amendment and the Point Forward podcast to invite you all out on Friday, March 10th to Beyond the Big Ten live recording taking place at Over Under Sports Bar in Lincoln Park, Chicago. That's Friday, March 10th at Over Under from 3 to 7 p.m. Look forward to catching y'all there.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. You're tuned into the About Sparta podcast, brought to you by the good folks at New Amendment. You can catch us on Beyond Big Ten on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And more importantly, you can find me at Raymar Morgan 2 and Travis at Travis_Walton_419 on all social media platforms. T-Walt, man, what's good, baby? Hey, man, tell me what you had going on this weekend.
Man, I had a great weekend, actually. My kids, we had a tournament. We played this team from Chicago. And I had a full court sprint, because it was a running clock. So I was watching the video yesterday. I sprinted down the court, grabbed the ball, gave it to the referee, and was yelling at my kids, "Come on, take the ball out," because it was a running clock. I didn't realize I did that until I watched the film. And I was like, oh, this just tops the weekend. This is a great weekend.
So you had a Gilly the Kid moment where you sprinted all the way down the court to hand the ball to the referee.
Down the court, Ray. We still lost. It was an intense game, man.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. How
was yours, bro? How was yours?
It was good, man. Like I said off air, man, we ended up getting the purchase of a dog. So, oh man, I didn't think having a dog would be such a stress reliever, but man, I'm so glad we got this dog. It's a golden doodle. And man, I couldn't be more satisfied with the breed and how the temperament of the dog. So, man, I'm excited about that. And then, of course, as you know, also we just got back from Charlotte. I got a chance to spend some time with one of my longest friends. It was his birthday weekend, so you know I had a pretty good weekend, to say the least.
Baby Ray, happy B-Day.
Baby Ray, shout out to Baby Ray, man, my dog, man. He even dropped a couple of tears when we brought out his cake. So it was a great weekend, man, to say the least.
Hey, Ray, y'all had his Dolph on this cake. I was dying laughing.
It's Dolph. Honestly, I think that's what brought him to tears, man. He said, man, it's Dolph. and he shed a couple of tears, man. So it was a classic weekend. It was a great weekend just to catch back up with old friends and you know, just to kick a little bit.
Yeah.
With that said, man, let's kick it off straight to these X's and O's, man. Saturday, February 18th, the Spartans took on Michigan. At Michigan, who was 15-12. Trav, what did you think about the game overall? It seemed like we had some ups and downs. We definitely had a chance to win the game, but in my opinion, they just killed us on the glass. I think that was the biggest difference. When it came down to winning and losing this game was we just got our ass kicked and also these guys have 5 guys in double figures. We said we needed to control Hunter Dickinson, which I think we did a pretty good job on him. He had 14 and 7, but it was the other guys that contributed that really hurt us. So like a Doug McDaniel, Jet Howard's always gonna be productive. Him and Bufkin, but I think Doug McDaniel is the one that killed us and really hurt us. Tell me your thoughts on how the game went and what we need to do better.
Yeah, man. First off, man, I just want to say thank you to the Michigan fans. Right, like it's been a tough time for Spartans, and the way the Big Ten has rallied, and for Michigan to be a rival. And to put all the game aside and for them to do what they did, have those T-shirts on and So that was very emotional for me because I was like, man, that's it's bigger than basketball, right? So thank you, Michigan fans. Salute to you guys. We all stood together. We stand together because, again, it's bigger than basketball. And I'm really, really appreciative of them. So I wanted to, give Michigan fans a big shout out and a thank you for that, because that definitely meant a lot to all Spartans, across the world for what they did and the support they showed. But yeah, man, just to kind of speak on what you said, I thought the rebound game, we lost it. I don't remember the last time we lost a rebounding game to Michigan by plus 13. It was 38-25.
Yeah.
And, through that whole game, I actually thought we were controlling it. We were playing well. It was back and forth. The crowd was involved, and we were maintaining our composure and doing some really good things. For me, he started this way, the Doug McDaniel kid, like he said, he had 18 points, freshman, and 4 assists. And then they had another freshman. This was a freshman step-up, big rival game for, players. They had the other guy, Terrence Reed Jr. He had 8 points, 10 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. Then he had 3 blocks. He had a huge block on Joey, and he saved the ball.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it was a back-and-forth game. The game could have went either way. And I just don't think we made enough stops. Like you said, we talked about containing, Hunter, and we did a great job containing him. What I will give him a lot of credit for is that he made veteran plays. He trusted teammates.
He did.
Right? We did a great job of loading up on him, right? Giving him 6 odds, having a guy in the gap, and digging when he caught the basketball, double teaming them at different times. And every time we threw something at him, he didn't force it. He gave the ball up. He made the passes. He trusted his teammates, which then led to the freshman making big plays. At the end of the game, Terrence Reed, he made a couple huge plays. He had an and-one play, pass from Hunter Dickinson, right? So I thought the plays that we needed to make, we just didn't make enough of them when they were making their run. We didn't get the stop that we were supposed to get. We didn't get the rotation we were supposed to have. And as you know, in those rival games, when it's getting down to the last 5 or 6 minutes, there ain't too many X and O's that you can do that's going to win that game. It's going to be more second effort and guys stepping up, making plays. So I just don't think we made enough plays. And that last shot, bro, that Boothkin made when he lost the basketball.
Yeah.
And he still made the 3. And then right after that, Hunter Dickinson. Well, right after that, they had the block, I think. And then after the block, I think Hunter Dickinson made that 3. And that was kind of our backbreaker. But it was just an emotional night for our players. And it
was.
I just, again, I wanted to win the game, but it was so much bigger than basketball for me right now.
For sure.
As well. So I thought we fought hard, and we just didn't make enough plays to win that game.
For sure. Like you said, man, just to piggyback off what you said, man, it was – you could tell the emotion was there. As they were doing the national anthem, they zoomed in on Coach Iz, and you can tell how his emotions took over. So, man, at the end of the day, we sit here and we talk basketball, but it's so much more to it than just dribbling up and down the court, and especially when lives are on the line. So, shout out to Michigan for what they did, and shout out to Michigan State as well, man. Just staying Spartan strong throughout it all, and just continuing to fight, man. It's a lot of evil in this world. We just got to figure out a way to overcome that with a little bit of good and a little bit of love. So, moving on, man. Tuesday, February 21st. Spartans took on Indiana back at the Briz, man. And, man, I have to say, we came out and we looked like we were ready to play. We had 4 guys in double figures. We shot almost 50% from the field, almost 50 from 3, and almost 95 from the free throw line. I mean, it's not much else you can ask for as far as the offensive side goes. And then on top of that, we out-rebounded them 33-24. Trav, fill the people in on what you think we did better this game as opposed to the Michigan game that we took that loss.
Well, similar to Michigan game from the start, where it was a lot of emotions, right? It was our first home game since, the tragic event. So we started the game, they were on an 8-0 run, right? They came out blazing against us.
Yeah, they did.
And it looked shaky for a moment, right? And coach called a timeout. There was some back and forth between the players and, the coach and the player, right? So there was a lot of emotions going on at the beginning of the game. But there was a mark. It was 17-10. They were up. And we threw a lob to Marty. And Marty got a dunk. And I thought the energy from that dunk, it just kind of it just took over. And from that moment, we just started to make play after play. And Tyson Walker was incredible in that first half, right? He was making big shot after big shot threes. I think he hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. And AJ was making.
You gotta go.
Yeah, we were moving the basketball. Like, everybody has started to step up and make plays. So, again, I thought it was a great team win where different players had, like Jackson Kohler, he had 4 points, but he had a big block, hit a couple big buckets for us to help us, like, with the momentum of the game and going. And that end of the half three that Tyson made was huge. Right, it was huge because we started the second half, Ray, hitting 4 straight threes.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of carryover. There was a lot of emotion again inside of this game, but we were able to absorb it, take it all in, get the crowd involved by playing great basketball. We made some highlights. Malik played well. Like I said, Holger, AJ, he had a great game, 22 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. And I really want to give him a shout out because there was about 2 or 3 minutes into the game, and I know Coach called a timeout or something around there, and he got on AJ, and AJ responded, right? And so I'm always, like, upping guys, and you know this as well. When Coach gets on you and you respond the right way, that shows you're a leader. And he's he's the engine, right? So he did a great job of carrying the team, making the right reads, and then, 2.0 Drew Neisel, Tyson Walker was just great all game.
Yeah, man, I think we stressed that point before in saying that you need great guard play to get far in the tournament. And these guys, I think it's around that time that they're starting to realize they're going to have to step up their games in order for us to even potentially go far throughout the tournament. So shout out to those guys, man. They really stepped it up. But just to throw some numbers out there, on the other side, Trace Jackson Davis ended up with 19, 7, and 5. Trav, man, tell me a little about your thoughts on Davis and also Jalen Hood-Schifino. I really like this kid's talent. 6'5", 6'6", point guard, natural point guard. Ended the game with 16, 3, and 1 assist. Just tell me a little bit about those two guys and where do you see Indiana going the closer we get to the Big Ten tourney?
Well, for Schifino, like he's a really great freshman with the poise he plays with and the physicality, right? I was impressed, like with his poise, like understanding of the game, where he could get his shots from. And knowing, like it's hard when you're in the Big Ten and as guys in the scouting reports get more focused on you to continue to perform and play well at a high level. And he has done that. And then Trace Jackson Davis, that kid, he's a Big Ten Player of the Year candidate, right? It's going to probably be between him and the kid from Purdue,
Edie.
right? Edie. And I think that you wouldn't go wrong giving it to either one, right? Like,
for sure.
He's a matchup problem because he can shoot the three, right? He can post up, and he also can pass the basketball, and he can defend.
Yeah.
So he's a Swiss Army knife in a different way. All right, and we know he can fill the stat sheet up. So I want to go back to Marty real quick, Ray, because he only had 2 points, and he had that big dunk I talked about when it was 17-10. But he had a big block on Jackson Davis toward the end of the game when they were making a run. I think we were up like 8 or 9, and they were starting to come back in the single digits. And he drove it and he made a big block. His energy was just amazing. And it's a tough cover when he's having to defend these really good bigs that we have in the Big Ten. So for him to defend Jackson Davis the way he did with the collective effort from our team speaks a lot about Marty, even though he had 2 points. But, and then the answer to your next question is, I think Indiana has a chance. I just think the Big Ten, what I'm hoping for, right, is what we had beat each other up so much, right, that hopefully as we start to get into the postseason, that we can find
overlooked.
It's not overlooked, right? And every team, we want the Big Ten to do well in the tournament. So I'm hoping that us beating each other up inside the regular season and conference play, that it doesn't hurt us when we get into the tournament for other teams to be like, man, we're tired, because it's going to be different games and different teams. So I think they have a chance to make a really good run. I hope they don't make it further than us, but I think they have a good chance. I think they have a good chance.
Well,
make some noise.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, man. And it's a player that I wanted to shout out, man. I thought Jackson played outside of his mind too, man. Just filling in that role. It seems like sometimes Marty gets in foul trouble, and sometimes Izzo changes up the lineups. We might go a little bit smaller, but I feel like Kohler really stepped up and filled that void like he needed to, being a freshman. And like we said before, he's starting to feel himself a little bit. He's starting to feel good. He's starting to figure out his role on the team and what he can do and when he needs to do it. So shout out to that guy. He's starting to play well, and he's doing it on both ends. At first, I was a little bit hesitant with him defensively, just him moving his feet, but he's starting to figure it out now. So I'm excited to see him here in the near future.
Do you think, Ray? Heading into the postseason and in the Big Ten tournament, like, what do you think our rotation will turn into? As we get closer into the, like I said, the postseason, couple games left. How many guys do you think we playing? Like,
my guess would be about 7, 8. I think depending on our matchup, Jackson's gonna have to play. Even our other big, I'm sorry, I drew a blank with his name.
Carson Cooper.
Carson Cooper, he may have to play just because of his size. He's a little bit taller. He's a little athletic. But then I also think you're going to have to definitely play Malik. I mean, that's a given. And depending on who's in foul trouble too, as far as guard play goes, will you go Holloway or will you go Brooks? So I think that 7 to 8 man rotation will fit us well. But I think we're going to have our main players carry us, if I'm just being completely honest, for us to go far in this tournament. Walker and Hoggy is going to have to take it by the reins and carry us for us to, even potentially go as far as we would like to, which is the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping Pierre step up, and he hasn't played as much, but I think he's a really good shooter. So hopefully
he's a good piece. He's a good piece. He can definitely get it going at times, and I think if he can just stay locked in defensively, that'll get him on the floor, because he, like I said, he spaces the floor. He can shoot. He's physical. But just staying locked in is where I think he needs to focus on. Yeah. Other than that, man, I think we'll have a good chance.
Yeah, because as we always need that extra guy. Like even my senior year, really our extra guy was Draymond.
Yeah, it was.
Draymond played incredible.
It was. He played incredible.
He played incredible. And like he was probably averaging 10 to 12 minutes during the regular season.
Not even that.
Yeah, probably lower, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like he actually that was his time to shine, and he was ready. I mean, you got to think though. In practice, we seen what he could do in practice, so we had an idea. But then once that opportunity came, he took full advantage, and he hasn't looked back since. So
yeah, remember G got in foul trouble against Robert Morris.
Yeah, man.
He came in and had a double-double, and then we played USC right after that. He had to go defend Taj Gibson. Did a good job there. Like he had a great run. So I always look at that when I think about the tournament runs. You always have to have a player that the scouting report is not focused on. Right? They don't know about you, and they go, "We're not even going to scout this guy." And then all of a sudden, he starts to make plays and do things, and that's how you make magical runs.
For sure, you definitely need those guys, the next man up mentality. And taking a step further, my senior year, this when you were coaching on the staff, Corey Lucius. Kalen Lucas goes down in the tournament, and Corey Lucius had a great tournament. Yep. I mean, he stepped up and made play after play every game that he pretty much saved us and got us to the Final Four. Yeah. So, I mean, those guys, you need those type of guys. So it's always great, and I hope we can see that with this current Michigan State basketball team.
Yeah, because when you think about that, Ray, just to go a little bit more, because it's always a guy. We're not in practice with him, but it's always a guy that we know, like how he can score the ball, right? He can put the ball in the hole. So Jackson can actually score too. So I always look at guys that in practice, are scoring. Like on the scouting report, he's a tough cover. And I think of Brooks Pierre as a tough cover in practice, right? He big, he knows how to score. He's been a scorer his whole life. And then, maybe Jackson as well. So I'm looking forward to kind of watch this closely to see who becomes that X factor that's not on the scouting report from the other team.
Agreed. Moving on, Saturday, February 25th. Man, we checked into the Heartbreak Hotel. We faced a good Iowa team who was 18-11. And I mean, to be honest, we had the game won. I mean, Trav, both teams have 5 players in double figures. But the biggest difference for me in it wasn't necessarily the up 10 with a minute and 30, because I mean, we've seen different things happen through, our careers and just being big basketball fans. So it wasn't the comeback that necessarily hurt me. It was just the little things, the second chance points that we gave up. We gave up 29 second chance points.
Wow.
Which that's just not easy to recover from.
Yeah.
I remember it was a possession where who did they have on the line? They had somebody that's a good, maybe Sanford or maybe even Murray. He goes to the line, he misses both free throws, and then we miss a block out. They get the offensive rebound and score. Like little things like that always kills you as a team. And then we turned over the ball way too much. Granted, they threw different looks at us with the 3-quarter press that they do, but it wasn't enough to have us have 15 turnovers. So with that being said, Trav, what did you see, and what hurt you the most about this disappointing Iowa loss?
Man, we did everything to win the game, right? Like we shot, Ray. Like you said, we had 15 turnovers to their 9 turnovers. That was a difference, right? Because a couple of those turnovers came toward the end of the game.
That's for sure.
But we were 11 for 15 from the 3-point line. Like 73%. We were 32 for 54, 59% from the field goal. And we were 31 for 36, 86% from the free throw line. We did literally everything to win this game.
Offensively.
Shit, I was like, game over. I'm on my way. It was 2-3 minutes. I'm like, oh, we good. I'm gonna jump on the highway. I got games. Let me get up out of here. But as you know, and this happens in every arena, it doesn't happen at home as much just because you got the crowd, you got more things behind you to kind of help you like push through it. But I go back, and it's all over the internet, the stare down, the 40-second stare down, right? Like, he comes out, McCaffrey comes out, he stares at the referee. And in that moment, I'm thinking, what is the huddle doing? Are the players like, come on, fellas, we all good. We good. Come on, lock in. So it kind of was like a reverse psychologically to his team because it gave the players a moment to just dial in and to say, this doesn't look like we can win this game, but let's do something remarkable, right? Let's do something that's never heard of. And the shit that happened at the end of the game, Ray, was more bothering to me because we lost our identity with veteran leadership in those 50, 40 seconds. And what do I mean by that? We're up 10 points. There is a guy in the post. We're digging on the post. We're up 10. It's 40 seconds. Why are we digging on the post for them to kick out for a 3? We're rotating on switches and we're not communicating. We're point switching. So now we're point switching. They're moving and cutting. That's the worst thing to do. Point switch when the team is cutting fast. So now we're point switching. They get open for another 3, miscommunication. Then there's an offensive rebound, right? They miss a shot. We swipe at the basketball, give up another 3. So for me, it was more disturbing because of the leadership that we normally have and that we have gave credit to our guys for having that we didn't do. Yeah, AJ missed the free throw. He was 12 for 14. He shot the ball great from the free throw line,
he did.
right? So it wasn't that. Like, it wasn't that. It was the last play we had miscommunication on the handoff. So it was those things that I just felt we never.
I don't even think they switched on the handoff either. They just let him get an open look.
It was a
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was first off, we went small. So every guy that was on the floor could easily guard a point guard, or they could guard a 4-man or a center. Everybody on the floor. So it was an easy switch. I'm sure during the timeout told everybody to switch. So with that being said, that just shows you, and it actually worries me a little bit going further, because do we continue to play like this? Do we play to our level of competition? I think we spoke about that on a couple of podcasts before. I feel like we get ahead of ourselves and we play to our level of competition. We should have easily won that game. We should have put that game away, but we let them linger, hang around. They got confident. They got hot. They took it to overtime, and we had nothing left. Well, so I think we got to change that.
Yeah, what are good signs of it? Because I think that this game, right, like this is obviously like something that never happens. Like we very rarely see. This is Tracy McGrady-ish, right? Like
it is for sure.
10 seconds, 20 seconds.
I mean, yeah. Like, what we were up 10 points with 1:30 left.
It was 96-86 with literally 40 seconds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it was 45 if you just the clock going down, but 40 seconds it said 96-86. But so now on the positive side, Tyson Walker had an amazing game. 31 points, 11 from 15 from the field goal, 2 for 3. Jaden Atkins, 21 points, 4 for 4 from the three-point line. Joey Hauser, 18 points, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, three-point line. So we had a lot of positives to come from this game. We shot the ball incredible, and it wasn't guys that don't normally make shots. It was guys that make shots. So we should be able to take this game, and coach should be able to jump on a few guys. And I'm hoping that this is a game that the players go, Coach, let me have it. And let me have it. I'm going to listen, and we're going to use this game as a reference moving forward, why every possession matters. Because guess what, Ray? We know this. We're getting into every possession matter basketball, right? Where that turnover in the first 5, 10, 6 minutes of the game can hurt us at the end of a game. So hopefully this right here, we go back to the drawing board and go, we lost by 10 with 40 seconds. So fellas, you need to fucking pay attention to what we're saying in the details and understand we have to execute at the highest level we can, which now requires for your mental toughness to be the highest it's ever been. This is where we at. This is why we are great. So I think if we can do that heading into these next 2 games, I think we can end off well and head into the Big Ten tournament in a good space.
Yeah, like you said, man. I think this game was a look yourself in the mirror type game. Everybody has to realize, like, they have to take ownership, and you got to put your big boy pants on. Yeah. We lost this game as a unit. It wasn't just solely on one person. And you just got to move on. It's always positives that can that you can collect from it. But they should be a little bit embarrassed at the same time. And I know Iz is giving it to him. So I just hope that their confidence or their swagger isn't wavered during this time, because it's still more basketball to be played. We're still going to make the tournament, and we still got a chance.
Yeah, I seen a great post from one of the players, and they were, because it was Jaden Atkins' birthday. So a few guys were like, yo, we sorry, man. We wanted to get that win for you. So I'm hoping they take that energy like, yo, you know what? We're going to band with our brother. We know that stuff is special. Go home.
No, for sure.
We need to win for Ohio, guys. Go, let's win this rival game. It's your birthday. Let's win this game so we can go out and have a little fun. So losing that game, small things, take them and run with them. Hopefully, taking the L on Jay Atkins' birthday motivates us to like a little bit more.
For sure, especially in the future. Speaking of future, man, let's tap into the scout report and see who we got next. The last couple of games of our play in Big Ten play before we start the Big Ten tournament. And first, tell me, who is your prediction to win versus this Nebraska team that we have coming up actually today?
Man, I think we're going to win this game. I think it's a great game for our veterans to step up and to get over that loss we just had, right? And I think it's going to be a tough game. Nebraska has won the last 4 games, last 3 games at home that they played. It's senior night for them, but this is a big picture win that we need, right? We need to get this win, and we need to win it in a good way, right? I think the game may start off a little slow just because there's a lot of emotions coming from, Nebraska with being senior night, guys playing for the seniors, the crowd is involved because it's the last time they get to see their guys, in their arena. But I think overall, we're going to come out, play well, or I think our veterans are going to play well. And I think we win this game in a good fashion, right? I'm hoping that we take their first blow. We understand that they are a good team and they've been playing well at home, right? Their record doesn't really reflect how well they've been playing as of late, but they won the last 4 games. So I think we should walk away with this, winning the game in a good fashion.
Agreed. I will have to say I I 100% agree with you. I think we win by around 8 or 10 points. Just for the simple fact that we took that heartbreak loss from Iowa. I think guys are going to be more motivated. Guys are going to be more locked in for sure, especially mentally on the task at hand. And I think, you made a great point of senior night for them. So I think if we can, like you said, withstand that first punch, I think we have a great chance of winning this game. But I think I'm going to take them by like 10.
Yeah.
Moving on for our senior night, we play the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are 12-17 and 4-14 in Big Ten play. Travis, now Ohio State is a good team in my opinion, but they're young, they're inexperienced, and they're young. They have a highly touted freshman in Sensabaugh, who is a huge key for their team and for their success. I think if we can cut his water off, we win the game. And contain Key and Suing. But our main guy that we have to stop is Sensabaugh. Tell me what you think about that game and what we need to do to get a victory leading up to this game.
Well, senior nights are always tough because you got to control your emotions, right?
Yeah.
Like for the seniors, it's your last time playing in wrestling, and that is a very emotional time, right? We both have been in those, those seats and those shoes, and like that's an emotional time because you're walking out, you're looking, you're trying to soak it all in, and you're really not realizing, like, man, you would never play in an environment like a college environment. So I think that's the first thing. So I always
not only college environment, the ISON. ISON is a special place to play, man.
Special place, man. So I think when you first come out there, you doing warm up, you just have to absorb it. Like you got to take it all in. I hope that none of our seniors look at it and go, I will absorb it when the game is over. No, absorb it while it's more. Like, look at the crowd, like, feel the energy, right? Like, do all these things that go, man, I worked really hard to play in this special place. And these are some special people I'm playing in front of. So I think once we do that, now it's about our guys playing for the seniors and making sure they win this game. And like you said, hey, Ohio State is not a very good team. They're young, right? They didn't have a lot of struggles this year, not normal for Ohio State, but they got a pro as of right now that everyone has said is he's a really good freshman. He's a really good player. So I think for our guards, right, you take that personal, right? Like you got a guy and you go, okay, if I can cut his water off, it helps us win, gives them a tougher chance to win. And also, he wants to be one of them guys. So
you got to take that. Yeah, you got to take that challenge.
So take the challenge. We did a great job last time we played him. So take on the challenge, cut his water off. Cut his water off. You're in front of the family, in front of everybody. It's the last game of the regular season. Cut that man water off. And let's go out here, win this game in great fashion. Let's play well so we can walk away from our last home game feeling great and head into the Big Ten tournament.
Agreed. Trav, we've reached that part of the segment, man. The segment we all love to hear, that word on campus. Michigan State was recently notified and made the announcement on Monday that the Spartans will not make up their home game against Minnesota. The Spartans will finish the Big Ten regular season with only 19 games played. Trav, does this hurt or help the Spartans moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's tough, like you said, because I think we're 9-8, and we got 3 or 4 teams that are 10-8. So we're both predicting that we're going to go win these next 2 games, which would give us a 11-8 record. And if a couple other teams in front of us win a game or 2, it could put us in a tough situation. I still think we control our destiny, though, right? I think if we do win these next 2 games and the other teams ahead of us win, we may have to play the second day. We get 1 game by. But I think it still puts us in a good situation where we get an extra game. That's not always a good thing, right? We all agree with that. It's not always a good thing. But I think for us, with our veteran leadership, which I said earlier that we're leaning on, I'm hoping that we can still come in and say, fellas, we control our own destiny. Let's go out here, take care of business, and let's see if we can make some noise in this Big Ten tournament.
Agreed. I will have to agree with you. I think it does hurt us simply because I felt like Minnesota was just that feel-good game. We were expected to win that game. They were in last place. And that's just one of those games where, you get your career highs. You shoot for your numbers. You feel good going into that game. So I would have liked to have seen that game played. I know Minnesota tried on their end to get things done, and as Michigan State did to try to play that game, find a date for it, but it just didn't happen. So moving forward, I don't think that I'm necessarily concerned on who we play. I just want the guys to be ready because I definitely think that we have the talent to win the Big Ten tournament. It's just now, do we control the mental aspect, locked in, knowing what guys can do, knowing guys' go-to moves, just being ready when it's time to play. If we can do that, I think we can beat anybody.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think we have a great chance. We just got to come in locked in. This is where we really have to lean on, our veteran leadership. And, also I also want to, word on campus is I want to continue to give, my prayers and shout outs to everybody at Michigan State.
For sure.
This is a tragic and it will always be on our minds. And we will always remember those dates and the people that was affected. So again, it's just so much bigger than basketball. And that's what it continues to hit me with. This, like, it's just such a like you said, stay strong Spartans and Spartan strong. It's just so important for us to always look at, it's bigger than basketball, it's bigger than any sport.
It's life, man.
Life. And people were really affected. And it was just a senseless act by a coward and by, someone, that just meant evil. But I'm just so thankful to be a Spartan because to look at the love. I'm out here in California, man. When I tell people, I went to Michigan State and they're like, man, I'm sending my prayers to you and to everyone that's around. And
for sure.
So it just tells you how, people really love you out here, man. They really care for you.
For sure.
So just sending my extra love to all my Spartans, former and current. We love you and we praying for you guys.
Same here, man. It's always love on this side. And with that being said, that has been another About Sparta show. We love and appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you sometime soon.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.
Beyond the Big Ten is a network of podcasts that aims to be your go-to resource for all things Big Ten. We cover the entire conference with shows hosted by ex-players and athletic alumni, aiming to be your go-to source of information and entertainment for your favorite team. Hosted by ex-Big Ten players, media, and insiders, our podcasts are focused on giving diehard fans and those alums an inside scoop about the teams and people that make the Big Ten Conference one of the most watched and most talked about conferences in sports. We're excited to talk Big Ten basketball with you wherever you may be. Subscribe now.